And this is where the storm is going to carry its strongest winds. So Irene, still a pretty impressive storm here with winds of 80 miles per hour, moving to the north-northeast at 16 miles per hour. Central pressure with the storm is 954 millibars. That is pretty low, but it's up 3 millibars from the last reading. So it is started a gradual weakening process. It is over some cooler water now as it moves to the north, 380 miles southwest of Providence. Not moving too quickly. Typically, hurricanes are moving a bit more swiftly than this one is when they're approaching southern New England. So this one is moving to the north-northeast at 16 miles per hour. It should have a gradual acceleration and be moving about 25 miles per hour when it passes us. And the track taking it to east of New Jersey, 8 o'clock Sunday morning, winds of 75 miles per hour with wind gusts to 92 miles per hour. And then central New Hampshire. That's what's up there, 65 mile per hour winds at that point as a tropical storm. Notice the computer models really focused in on this track here to our west. So the storm is going to our west. In fact, we've made our way out of the cone of uncertainty for the first time in a long time here in Rhode Island. We've known the storm was going to our west. That is not a surprise. The timing on the storm is about what we thought it would be, coming through during the midday hours, or at least passing our latitude during the midday hours. But it's not just a matter of exactly when the storm arrives. When we say that it's crossing us in the midday hours, we are going to feel the effects from it from right now through about this time tomorrow evening, with the rain picking up later tonight, and then the wind continuing after the rain ends tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. 75 right now, the temperature out there, extremely humid. Dew points are running between about 70 and 75, so tropical rain showers are going to be developing in advance of the system. 17 mile per hour winds right now westerly in Block Island, 15 in Martha's Vineyard. So starting to notice the wind pick up a little bit. It's gusting to 25 right now for westerly, 24 for Martha's Vineyard. I'm really interested to see what this storm has left on the eastern side of it. I think it's going to have strong enough winds to down some trees and some power lines in southeastern New England, and I think we're going to be pretty impressed by the storm surge that we end up seeing from this system as it comes through. So it transitions from a hurricane to a tropical storm. It may still be a hurricane at this point, but really you can only have one icon or the other, so it flips halfway between the two timestamps there. So it is a tropical storm, certainly, as it's moving farther to our north. Even after the rain ends, the wind continues for us tomorrow during the afternoon hours and into the early evening hours, so definitely keep that in mind. Here is that timeline. Right now we're seeing wind gusts again around 20 miles per hour. By 7 in the morning, 40, maybe 50 mile per hour wind gusts at the coastline. Peaking winds around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 50 to about 60 mile per hour peak wind gusts. The strongest winds will be along the coastline. Might even see some gusts up to around 70 or 75 miles per hour down on Block Island. And then by 8 o'clock in the evening, we're still looking at some winds that'll be gusting to around 50 miles per hour, and then 11 o'clock tomorrow evening, the winds dying down to about 40 for the peak gusts. Again, high tide early in the day, about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again late in the day at 8 o'clock in the evening, a 3 to 4 foot storm surge expected at both of those high tides. So now we are much closer to a low tide, and we find ABC6 storm tracker meteorologist Matt Legore down there in Narragansett, and said the wind was picking up. You said you're about 20 feet, the waves are about 20 feet from the seawall, Matt, and it's low tide. So I think you're really going to have a sight to see at the time of high tide tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a much different looking scene around here early tomorrow morning, Fred, as you mentioned, that storm surge and the combination of the high tide. But right now things are relatively quiet. We do have some rather gusty winds, but no rain to speak of at this point. And as we mentioned earlier, the water is about 10 to 15 feet away from the rock wall right now. We are live in Narragansett Town Beach, and it is a pretty interesting scene.
Hey,
we've got a lot of people hanging around
all right,
here.
Matt. That's about what I was just about to ask you. We can hear those people actually behind you. So a little bit of a party type atmosphere down there?
Yeah, you know, I think everyone's kind of waiting for Irene to show up, but it is certainly a much different atmosphere. You think a hurricane coming down our way, but people are just all excited about what the waves are going to be looking like and what the scene's going to be looking like tomorrow morning.
You know, Matt, I hear there was nobody down there until you got down there just a few minutes ago. So
oh yeah,
I don't know what's the attraction down there, but everybody's got to be careful, especially at the time of high tide tomorrow. So definitely stay safe and certainly keep our crew and anyone else you can away from that tide as it begins to rise tomorrow.
Will do. Thanks, Fred.
All right.
Martha's Vineyard hunkered down today ahead of Irene's arrival at the Edgartown Yacht Club. Workers hastily boarded up windows, and members the Edgartown docks emptied of tourists. Most have cut vacation plans short before Irene makes getting home
Life is Good Festival, and our goal to help
the wind.
Trees down, blocking roads, wires down, electricity out. Where we're located, the flooding area or water surge is not an issue because it's a south wind that blows it away from us.
Okay. And back here live, you can see this is the sound side of the island where the water is usually a little more calm. And even here, the surf is picking up. You know, the wind is really picking up on the island, so you can really feel Irene on her way. Now, as we pointed out early in the evening, the last ferry boat has left the island, and the Steamship Authority has announced that there will be no service, no ferry service to and from the island at all tomorrow. It's been suspended. Service expected to resume on Monday. That's Story Live from Martha's Vineyard. I'm Byron Barnett, 7 News 19.
From there, let's go to 7's Susan Tran. She's along the coast in Marion.
Dennis Giokis checks his sailboat in the harbor one last time.
Strong wind and waves, that's not my concern. It's about some gear failing and then the boat obviously breaking loose.
He hopes when he returns Sunday, the Dreamcatcher didn't get caught up in the storm.
I'll come back tomorrow and check it and see if it's still in the same place.
There is a water line.
This line showing how high the water got during Hurricane Bob in '91 is a constant reminder for folks hurricanes are serious business.
When the surge came through, all those boats got knocked over onto their side. They all floated and fell over. There were boats on Front Street. It was unbelievable.
For days, crews brought boats inland for safekeeping and taped up windows.
If there is some kind of window breakage, the tape will minimize the mess. It'll be easier to clean up.
Everyone hoping Hurricane Irene gets bored and all the pre-planning pays off.
All these boats are here and they're protected, but we don't know if they're going to be there tomorrow.
As you can see, there are still some boats moored out in the harbor, but all of the floating docks, they've been brought up, along with some of the boats that were docked on the other side. They've been brought inland to keep them safe. The evacuation shelter, actually, it's just a shelter. No one's been evacuated, but there is a shelter. It was opened at 8 this evening for anyone who might want to go there. Everyone hoping when they return tomorrow to come see their property, there will be minimal damage. Live in Marion, Susan Trent, 7 News 19.
And our coverage just getting started tonight. This is a special hour-long edition of 7 News at 11 on Hurricane Irene. We will have the latest on the storm's position and what we can expect here.
I'm Ryan Schulteis, live here in Springfield, where this town, along with many others out here in Western Mass, are preparing for another round of nasty weather. We'll show you coming up.
All right, Ryan. Also, we're seeing pictures of the storm's effects sent into 7 News. A picture showing a taxi in Everett. Can you see it there? Nearly swallowed by flooding off Route 16.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Drinking. And, of course, the coastal flooding caused by the storm surge. Now, let me set the stage for you. In Boston right now, it is muggy. If you've been outside anywhere in New England, you just feel the heaviness of the moisture in the air. The dew point is almost 70. The wind is just up to 10 miles per hour in Boston. It will gradually build in the next few hours and be strong by morning. But look at this. Oppressive in the 70s. It means it's uncomfortable. It also means the air is holding a tremendous amount of moisture. And that's what happens with tropical systems, and that's why rainfall is one of the concerns. Any of these darker greens and yellow bands are terribly heavy rains. You may have got caught in some of them today. Look at this band that's now approaching New York City. But what I want you to notice is while some of them will rotate through, with the storm moving straight to the north, a lot of that is destined for western New England. So the very heaviest rainfall amounts will be up this way. Again, we will certainly have additional very heavy tropical downpours overnight and into tomorrow. But notice how a lot of it stays to the west, and every once in a while, something extends here to the east, and it's very heavy. But the heaviest amounts should be that way. Now, in terms of trying to give you an idea of what the total rainfall will be with this, it's only an estimate, but the idea is the smallest amount would be the Cape and the Islands in terms of rain. The heaviest would be out in the Berkshires, and the middle of the state would fall in the middle. So that's what it is. Certainly to concerned with the rain. There's no two ways about it. Then we get into the strong winds, and there's going to be a long period of time, about 4 a.m. to midnight, where there'll be frequent wind gusts of 39 to 73 miles an hour, which is tropical storm force. And maybe in the highest elevations and the areas on the south coast facing the ocean, there could be some hurricane force gusts. The storm surge, most especially for the south coast, some, but somewhat less so for the east coast. And again, Mike talked about that earlier. We're just seeing the wind begin to increase now. 24-mile-per-hour gust in the Vineyard, 22 in Nantucket. That'll overspread the Cape and then build northward during the night. As the storm takes a track to the west, the storm surge is formed because the storm gets close and the wall of water. Everything's moving south to north. The wind, the wave action, the storm itself. So these are the wind gusts that I'm expecting frequently during that 20-hour time period. That's why we're so concerned about significant amount of tree trouble, power line down, and therefore power outages. We always hope it's not going to be widespread, but it very well could be. And finally, want to mention again with that storm surge from the south, so it's the south-facing coastal areas, and especially as Mike showed where it funnels in Buzzards Bay and Narragansett Bay, we have to watch the threat for both the high tide of tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. So keep all of that in mind. We'll be updating you through the night and begin our continuous coverage at 4 a.m. Let's check the details of the forecast now for you. Here's the way it goes. For the overnight period, frequent, very heavy tropical downpours, very humid out there, winds slowly building from south to north overnight. Tomorrow, a very, very windy day. Damaging winds at times are quite likely. Torrential downpours at times, especially morning and early afternoon, with the heaviest, most frequent ones off to the west. There's your temperature range, and look at those wind gusts as we talk about that. The good news I have is that it's going to clear tomorrow night. It will get less windy after midnight, and a beautiful, calm, tranquil stretch of weather looks like it's going to follow. All right, that's the latest that Mike and I have for you for now. Guys?
You know what the amazing thing is?
Sox got 2 games in?
2 full games in today.
Unbelievable. How did that happen?
So guess what song they're singing in the clubhouse tonight?
What's that?
Good night, Irene.
Good night, Irene.
I don't know if I want to hear that. Yeah, really. But that's probably what they're saying because they're done with the storm. Everybody else, of course, has to deal with it, but the Red Sox are fini.
What is coming? An espresso or white, $7.99 in black or white. Even solid wood, only $7.99. At my box.
Prone to flooding. With a situation like this, with the rain that they've had, flooding is certainly not something that will surprise anyone. Adam and Krista?
And Chris, I understand the mayor ordered mandatory evacuations there in Ocean City. Did most people heed these warnings?
Just about everyone did, and actually there was a deadline yesterday of everyone, all residents, all visitors, they had to get out. So from the looks of it, from the fact that everything appears to be a ghost town right now, just about everyone got out. We heard from the mayor earlier today, actually. He believes there may only be about 200 people who decided to stick and ride this thing out. What they're doing right now and exactly where they are, you know, as anyone's guess, best guess is they're at their homes, they're hunkered down. Hopefully they're staying inside. That's what officials are telling people to do. Stay inside. Hopefully you've got your emergency kit, you've got your cases of water, your non-perishables. Don't go outside, though. That's bottom line. They're telling folks stay inside if you are one of the few who've decided to ride this thing out.
All right, Chris Welch in Ocean City, Maryland for us once again. Thanks, Chris.
Really windy scene there, and our coverage continues here on 7 News at 11. We will be right back after this break.
Luxury can be a sedative or a stimulant. Infinity, inspired performance. Visit the Infinity Limited Engagement Summer Event. Our inventory selection is outstanding. The best offers of the season are now available. Lease an Infinity G25 sedan for $319 per month or get 1.9% APR on all 2011 models.
I walk for my wife, Lori, and for everyone fighting cancer at Dana-Farber.
We walked last year, and we'll walk this year.
To help my dad beat cancer.
I walk for my friend Rich, so he can have many more birthdays.
We walk for my mother and my brother, and for other families who battled cancer.
My friends walk for me. Who will you walk for?
The bus river in North Carolina or Virginia was out there, didn't take it seriously, and he lost his life.
Yeah. So that's the bottom line is don't take it lightly. Definitely stay tuned to the forecast. I'll be doing updates all night.
All night long.
We'll be going 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be here. All right, thank you, Fred.
And still ahead, the Patriots out in Detroit tonight, and it is a good thing.
The Red Sox play a long and soggy day-night doubleheader. They managed to get in both games. Don Coyne is on deck after the break.
ABC